Hey everybody, I'm Chucky. This is Jason. We're in Red Rock's Racing Sportsbook for the sports betting podcast Bookends, and we're going to kick it right off with the NBA Finals. I mean, what a game last night, Jay. I mean, it was kind of the tale of two halves, or I think you could break it up almost by quarters, the way these teams played last night, and were raining threes. It was an interesting bet game. I think from our side of the counter, we were clearly Celtic fans last night. Public was all over the Warriors. They bet them in the series. They bet them in game one. But really the sharper, sophisticated play came in on the Celtics. Anytime we'd move that game to 4, it was bought right back. Anytime we'd move the money line or the series price up a little bit, it was bought right back. But we still were huge Celtic fans. We had a number of 5-figure bets on both sides last night, but over 74% of the tickets were on the Warriors, yet that fourth quarter was a unbelievable rain of three-pointers for the Celtics.
Yeah, Boston was able to shoot 51%, making 21 three-pointers. The Warriors
21.
Shot 42%. Obviously, both teams really shot well from the three-point line. The bettors did win on the total. The total had opened 211 in the game, closed as high as 214, and obviously we saw it go way over that, scoring 228 points with them shooting so well from three-point land. Really not surprised, though, that the action was on the Warriors. You looked at that number from a 3.5 standpoint. Warriors coming off a six-day break. Boston only having a 3-day break after beating Miami in that Game 7 on the road. So it kind of did favor the Warriors from that standpoint. But obviously, maybe a little rust. Maybe they died down a little bit. Obviously, that Boston defense was just absolutely incredible in the fourth. And when you're shooting three-pointers like that, and then Golden State's got to go able to try and match those points. We've talked about it, for the last several weeks. The three-pointers really change the game and can really stretch out the point spread.
And once again, that streak of not having a game fall within the point spread, it's still alive. Because
23 straight games now,
going
all the way back to May 9th.
Where the favorite actually wins and blows the team out, or the dog wins outright, and you don't have a game fall within that gap. It's interesting to me, though, is that I really felt if the Celtics were going to win that game, that it would be with defense, of course, but it wouldn't be such a high-scoring game like that. But they got into that kind of three-point contest with Golden State, won that the way they were raining threes, and kind of they showed that they can step up and play that. They're still a better defensive team. The series favorite now has really flipped dramatically with Boston getting home court, and they're the favorite in this game. But if you like the Warriors, now's the time to pounce. They pounced on them game 1 when they were laying a price in the series. Now you're getting plus money. All they have to do is go into Boston and win one game, and they've gotten home court back. Yeah,
and again, we're looking to explode the menu here for the NBA Finals. You're going to find props on about every single player that's on the court from a starting 5 on both teams, whether it's points, rebounds, assists, first quarter team totals, first half team totals. Really a big menu of stuff to bet on in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, so it's been great, guys. So take a look at that either in one of our racing sports books or, of course, on STN Sports. Anywhere you're at, you can kind of dial up and look at all this different stuff.
One of the other things from a basketball standpoint we haven't talked about a lot, but is the in-play. So obviously we have all of our pre-games wagers that we have available, but as that game starts, the in-play opens up, and you can bet the game throughout the game, not just commercial breaks. You're betting the whole game as gameplay is going on. So again, check out that in-play feature on the app if you haven't checked it out already.
And before we jump over the hockey, while we're talking about basketball too, WNBA. Aces did suffer their second loss last night, but we're expanding the menu with WNBA too. Every Aces game now, we're putting up a lot of props involved with those games. If it's Wilson or Plum or scoring props, there's a lot of stuff on the board, so check that stuff out as well. We're going to jump over to the pucks right now. First, we're going to look over at the Eastern Conference, where the Rangers, after back-to-back Game 7s, they beat Pittsburgh. They then beat Carolina. They're at home for Game 1 against the 2-time defending champs, Tampa Bay Lightning, and they put 6 goals on the board. They played phenomenal. That the Garden was rocking. It's only one game, but I was impressed with the Rangers played in that game. And there's a couple of interesting stats when you go into Game 2 that really favor the Lightning.
Well, before I'll let you get to the stats, one of the things that we did see from the Lightning is, again, an extended layoff.
Right.
With going and sweeping the Panthers. One of the things in hockey, if you go back to 2 years when they had their mandatory kind of 7-day break in the NHL, we saw those teams really struggle after they come back from those extended layoffs. And I really think that's what happened.
That was
to
a
Tampa.
betting trend then, if you remember, right?
That was what happened to Tampa, going on the road after an extended break, kind of trying to find your legs after that long break. And if we know what we know about Tampa, here's your stats for Game 2.
So Game 2, guys, all right. So Tampa, the last 3 postseasons after a loss, they are 18-0. 18-0 after a loss in the postseason. And Game 2s, they've now won 7 straight Game 2s. This is a Game 2. They're on the road. It's kind of a must-win, I think. In the Garden here, we know that crowd's going to be rocking, but there definitely are some stats that really favor the Lightning right now heading into the second game matchup.
Yeah, Rangers are hot. Taking down Carolina, I think, gave them a lot of confidence. They've been doing it on both ends. Kreider's been.
Who's the coach of the Rangers again?
Don't get us started in our Vegas Golden Knights.
I'm happy for him, though. I mean, he's done a great job with that team. It's fun to watch Reeves, just the kind of the heart and the character that he brings to that team. It's kind of fun to watch it. It gives you kind of remember what happened with the Knights, when we had those two guys.
I hope we see a good long series, a 6-7 game series out of this Ranger Lightning series, because I think on the Western Conference we might see a little bit quicker series. I know that you've been on Edmonton,
I have.
And I applaud you for your Edmonton selection over Calgary. I wouldn't have been on that side. I thought the Flames were the better team, and Edmonton really impressed. And after the game one, where we just saw these teams go absolutely up and down the ice, with Colorado pulling out an 8-6 victory, Kemper gets hurt. We see Francois come into net, and Colorado really kind of changes who they are, in throwing a 4-0 shutout.
I think they had to do that. We kind of talked about it. We know both these teams have a lot of open ice. They love that style of play. They both put a touchdown on the board, as you said, in game one. But I think you have to kind of circle the wagons a little bit, drop back, not leave your goalie so exposed with that open ice. And they did that. They won 4-0. Of course, they got great goaltending in this game. But if Kemper's not back for the two games in Edmonton, I think it's different. And I know you talked about it could be a short series. If Edmonton can win Game 3, I think they can win both games in Edmonton, and a lot depends on what's ultimately going to happen with Kemper there. Interesting to see what kind of style these two teams play back in Edmonton, if you see the high-scoring affair or more of a low-scoring game.
I'll let you stay on your Edmonton.
Thank you. I appreciate
bandwagon.
That. I'm staying right on
but, you. But I think that Colorado's got this team figured out. If they don't play open ice with them, that's the only way. What Calgary tried to do was play the open ice with them. I think if Colorado sucks back, they're the better team. They've got the better players on the ice, and you'll see guys like McKinnon and Makar take over this series.
I'm really looking forward to it. I want to see that crowd in Edmonton, and we know what hockey means to the Canadian fan base, and what they want to get out of McDavid, and for McDavid to get on that Mount Rushmore. He's a phenomenal player. He has to win a cup. And I think this is an opportunity, if they can somehow, if Kemper's not back, win a couple of games in Edmonton, the pressure switches back to Colorado. But it's been fun to watch both conferences. Really different style of play on both sides. It'll be interesting to see, however it works out, what the totals are when the Stanley Cup Finals roll around.
And again, same as the NBA Finals, all the hockey series, we've got props on player shots on goals, player to score goals, number of saves by the goalies, you score in the first 10 minutes. Will these games go into overtime?
Fights.
And will there be fights? And the in-play option is available on the hockey as well. So again, just outstanding wagering opportunities throughout these games.
So let's jump over to baseball right now. And it's been kind of up and down season. I know we've talked about that there's been some spurts where you guys have done really, really well. A lot of favorites coming in. I mean, yesterday you had the Yankees win both games of a doubleheader, and the Dodgers on the tail end actually win the game and cover the run line, what the Dodgers do most of the time. The one lucky thing for us was that the Dodgers happened to play the Pirates last week, and the Dodgers had won 16 straight games against the Pirates before playing them this year. Pirates won 2 out of 3 in Pittsburgh and then swept the Dodgers in Dodger Stadium, which really helped us out a little bit with baseball.
Yeah, it was good for the book, and don't sleep on Pittsburgh. They're on a roll.
A lot
here.
of young, good players they brought up from Indianapolis.
The real news in baseball is coming out of Pennsylvania, not necessarily with the Pirates, but with the Phillies making a managerial change with Joe Girardi being let go by the Phillies. Obviously, that team has got a loaded lineup of hitters: Bryce Harper, Hoskins. They pick up Castellanos, Schwarber, but really been struggling on the defensive end and the side, and their pitching has let them down. So we'll see if what the change does there and what they do with the bats. But again, you talked about the Pirates and a team that we were down on for we'll call it the first month of the season, the Cincinnati Reds, who were just absolutely pathetic over the last week or two. Actually, I think it's over the last 2 weeks. The Dodgers, Yankees, and the Cincinnati Reds are the best 3 teams in baseball. So they've had a nice bounce back, which again is key for the sports books. You guys like to as much as you like to pick the winning teams, you like to pick on those teams that constantly are losing. And the Reds were finding themselves in that boat to start the beginning of the season. And now you guys are picking up on the trend to bet against the Washington Nationals, who have become like the kind of new darlings of losing.
And they're
baseball.
not trading Soto, they say, but we'll see if they continue to lose. He's only under contract again through 23, so we'll see if they could get a bounty if they decided to trade Soto this year, because he'd have another year with the team he goes to.
But a lot of action on a daily basis against the Washington Nationals, and so again, baseball's been exciting. There's been some good games, some really a lot of close to almost no hitters. It seems like every night we've got a pitcher taking a no hitter into the 6th or 7th. We've actually been talking about putting up the no hitter prop on a daily basis. So what would that price need to be? 20 to 1 or 30 to 1 on a no hitter. So maybe that's something to look forward in the app. And again,
I think we'd have to actually specify though a no hitter by one pitcher or a no hitter by multiple pitchers, because it doesn't seem like that these guys go 9 anymore, even if you have a no hitter.
Yep. Well, we have to take a close look at who's pitching that day, because Justin Verlander, I know his last 2 starts, he's taken no hitters through 6 and 7, and like I said, it seems like on a daily basis. Italian for the Yankees yesterday, throwing a perfect game, I believe, through 7 1/3. So again, just special things going on.
And the Reds had a no hitter this year with multiple pitchers and lost.
Hunter Green.
So and
the other thing that seems to be picking up in baseball, and we've made a little bit of adjustment, is we sat through the first month of the season seeing a lot of low scoring games.
I was going to touch on that as well.
And we are seeing the runs start to pick up, so we are starting to see more of those 8.5s and 9s in your totals versus the 7.5s and 8s that you saw just a couple weeks ago.
Weather's starting to warm up a little bit, and I think that's a contributing factor. Maybe they're changing the balls out. That old batch, they took it out of the humidor, and now it's just sitting somewhere, but maybe that helps. But we have seen a lot more runs of late. I think if we had a song in baseball, it'd be Puppy Love, because we definitely need the puppies on pretty much a nightly basis. But it's not just about, baseball, basketball, and hockey right now. There's so many other things on the board. I know we've talked about golf and auto racing we had last year. Got the French Open up right now, the men's and women's semifinals and finals. You've got college baseball, College World Series, women's softball, the World Series. So there's just a lot of stuff, that you can come into the book and wager, or sign up for STN Sports and all this stuff. Whatever you're doing this summer, you have available on your app. And you still have that $100 bonus going on right now. And for a $50 deposit, you get that cool Stephen Money T-shirt that right now. So there's a lot of really great stuff. And the board is just loaded with stuff to bet on.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of stuff that we're preparing for. We've got a huge NFL menu of props and things that you can bet on to get yourself ready there. College football, look this weekend for our first opening weekend of college football to open up. And we're already excited. You and I have been talking about this for almost a month, is World Cup soccer.
Can't
Not
wait.
going to be here till November, but I'm really prepping for a major World Cup soccer menu and exploding the menu and doing everything we can for you World Cup soccer fans.
We're going to own it, just like we did for the Pro Football Draft, where we kind of converted our Racing Sportsbook to Draft Central. Look for a lot of cool stuff. I know it's still a ways away now. It's in Qatar. It doesn't start till late November through kind of early mid-December. But we're going to own it here, and we're going to kind of convert this to soccer, a soccer mecca. That's going to be cool for all you soccer fans. So a lot going on. Don't forget, get signed up for STN Sports. Check out the app. Come on in. We love when you guys come in and enjoy everything we have to offer. We might start bringing Teaser back soon, because football's not that far away, our little mascot. But anyway, it's Jason, Chucky. We're in Red Rocks Racing Sportsbook. Thanks for tuning in for the Sports Betting Podcast Bookends. We'll see you guys again next week.